Hi, my name's Emmy. I'm from the Orpington congregation, and today we'll be looking at Hebrews 12 verses 14 to 21 in a continuation of our series. Hebrews 12 is a call to endurance. It talks about Christ's enduring, in his race. It gives us the pattern of Christ to follow. It talks about fatherly discipline and how the fact that discipline at the very core of it is not pleasant in any way, and it is only after you've submitted to that discipline that you get the benefit of it. No discipline is enjoyable at the time, painful even, but afterwards, for those who have submitted themselves to it, there is a harvest of righteousness. Paul, there are many things to pick out from verses 14 to 21, but I just want us to focus on two things. In verses 14 and 15, Paul writes, "Pursue peace with everyone and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord." Verses 15, "Make sure that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no root of bitterness springs up, causing trouble and defiling many." Pursue peace. Make sure that no one falls short. See to it that no one falls short. These are all action words. Like discipline, it requires us to do something. It requires us to live in a certain way. It requires us to make certain choices. They're not passive words at all. And the other thing is, also, Paul uses the example of Esau as a cautionary tale. He tells us in verse 16, "Make sure that there isn't any immoral or irreverent person like Esau, who sold his birthright in an exchange for a single meal." Paul cautions us against being people of instant gratification. Esau was all about the here, now, and that's it. That was all he was concerned about. It was all about the instant gratification of his hunger being dealt with, forgetting and despising his birthright, just letting go of that and all the privileges and responsibilities that come with that birthright. He didn't want to know. The truth is, God has blessings in store for you, an inheritance really. We shouldn't be like Esau, who foolishly threw away his birthright for the reward of just being fed right there and now. We have the example of Jesus to look at. Paul tells us that Jesus endured the cross. He despised the shame of the cross. He hung on the cross so that he could get he could obtain everything that the Father has for us, so that he could redeem all nations back to himself. And as we go about our day, let us reflect. Are we people of instant gratification? Are there things that we're doing which actually, when it all boils down to it, it's all about just the instant gratification, rather than holding out maybe for what God wants for us, holding out for what we know to be the right thing to do in that circumstance? When we do, just like Jesus did, when Jesus held on and submitted himself to the Father and endured to the end, he got a blessing. He was exalted to the right hand of the Father, and he got freedom over death and sin for all nations, for everyone, for every man, woman, child, everyone. When we endure, when we when we are not people of instant gratification, not only do we get blessed in that life of obedience of making the right choices, but others too are blessed by our choices.